Hey guys, welcome back to Black Magic Craft. It is Reviews Day Tuesday, and today I'm gonna unbox something that has been sitting here for over a week that has taken a lot of willpower to resist opening until the time was right where I could fill it. This is my fulfillment for the Reaper Bones 4 Kickstarter. Bones 4. For those of you unfamiliar, every year, for the last 4 years, Reaper launches a massive Kickstarter where they launch all of their new upcoming miniatures, and it is one of the most exciting and best run Kickstarters of them all in the hobby, and you always get a crazy good deal on miniatures. Last year was the first time that I backed one of these, so this is my first time being a part of the fun. The amount of stuff you get for the price when backing these is ridiculous. The core set was $100 US and ended up being, with stretch goals, I think 163 miniatures, ranging in size with some big ones. So that's a very, very cheap price per miniature. There's also a ton of other add-ons. I didn't go on all of them, but I did add 2 of the expansion sets, and those sets were $50 US each for like 40 some minis. All in all, I have something like 260 some minis here that I paid $200 USD for. That's like 80 cents a mini, which is crazy good, crazy cheap. And like I said, they range in size. The caveat is that you wait a year for them to produce them and send them to you, but also you get them before they hit the retail market. So awesome. Anyway, I don't want to talk about too much because there's like 200 and some minis in this box that I got to look at. I don't know how I'm going to get through them all in this video. That's not super boring. I'm just going to tear into it and look at them really quickly. Let's open this up. Bones 4. Doggy. I was expecting this to be a bunch of just baggies, not actual boxes. I thought it would just be Ziploc bags. Okay, here, got a whole bunch of bases. This was part of the core set. You got 30 bases, really awesome. Oh yeah, this was my one a la carte add-on. I only got the core set and 2 of the expansions, but I did also get these sets of wraiths for an extra $10 add-on. Let's get this all out of the box here. Oh, I don't even know how to deal with this. What's all this? Some paint charts, some stuff for beginners. That's cool. Okay, so we have the Darkreach expansion, Dreadmere expansion, and the core set. I really was expecting these to all come in a bunch of Ziploc bags and not retail ready boxes. So this is exciting. Let's start with the main set, I guess. Now I think there's 163 minis in here, so I'm not gonna be able to show them all close up, that's for sure. Oh my goodness. How on earth do we deal with this? I don't know how to deal with this in a way that makes sense. Okay, what's really interesting is that there's some stuff on sprues, which I really wasn't expecting. You don't often see that with bones. Sometimes you do. Sometimes some of the littler things come on sprues. But I guess maybe when they package them for retail on the blister cards, they remove them first. So how on earth am I gonna show all this? I gotta keep these together too. There's a fair bit of assembly on some of these models. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna be honest, my thought going into this and how I was gonna deal with it was to kind of just tear through and open a bunch of this stuff up. And then for my own sanity, I had planned on just putting these on the shelf unpainted so I could see what they all were and have a good idea. But it looks like a ton of these need assembly, which is not often the case for Reaper Bone stuff. I don't know. It seems odd. Like these ones have come assembled, but not all of them. Like I don't mind assembling figures. Just with Reaper, I was expecting them all to be like this and that I could just drop them on the shelf and see everything that I got and have them. Man, I'm sorry guys. This is not something I can deal with in a rational way. Like, how am I gonna show all this? I knew it would be a problem to show this many minis, but I thought I could show something. But these are just baggies of unassembled minis for the most part. Here we got some of the town stuff, which is one of the parts of the core set I was really, really excited about. You got this awesome pig here, and there's actually, I think, a pumpkin cart, if I remember. Yeah, here it is. A cart pulling pumpkins. But again, needs assembly, so hard to show. Keep in mind, there's 163 minis here. I paid $100 for this set plus shipping. Absolutely crazy. And some of these minis are large, like this large dragon. I don't want to open these all up and mix up all the pieces. I'm gonna have to spend like a couple days just assembling these before I can even think of painting, because I know if these all sit in a box unassembled forever, I'm never gonna get around to painting them. I want them to at least be assembled so I can look at them and grab what I need as I need them. Some of these are in translucent green, these pirate spirits here. It doesn't even all fit back in this box. How did they pack this? Let's see these expansions. The Dreadmere expansion. This is just a bunch of baggies of minis on sprues. Again, it's not gonna be that exciting of a thing to look at for you guys. It looks like more of these might be assembled. Ooh, cool looking zombie with a big mouth. Look at this. The Dreadmere expansion set has way more pre-assembled or one-piece minis. There's actually only 4 baggies in the set from some of the bigger, more complicated things like the boat that has a bunch of accessories and this cart and whatnot, but most of them are pre-assembled, which is kind of nice for demonstration purposes. This set is kind of like a creepy swamp sort of set. There's some monsters like this crocodile and these worms and these toads and a couple other things. But what made me most excited about this set were all the really cool NPCs. You got like this fishmonger witch type lady, some sort of bounty hunter holding a severed head, some townsperson with an axe, some kind of town crier with a scroll message, lots of old ladies that could be hags, all sorts of cool stuff. Let's check out the Darkreach expansion. I think this is mostly Underdark kind of stuff. Hopefully it's not just a bunch of baggies of unassembled stuff, so I can actually show you some things. Yeah, it looks like we can unpack a bunch of these. This set did have a fair bit more of bagged minis with parts and stuff that I didn't want to mix up and lose, but there's still a whole bunch of them that are one piece or pre-assembled. This is a really fun expansion set. It's got a lot of really cool Underdark stuff. There's some elves that could be, painted up like drow. There's some of these translucent purple plastic ones. So when you paint these crystals, you could, just paint the base and keep the crystals actually translucent. You got these, what are they called? Violent Shriekers? Is that what they were? I can't remember. It's been a while. Displacer Beast is also done in the translucent purple. And you got a bunch of these mushroom people, myconids, which are really fun minis. A few creatures. I really like all these little, they could be either gnomes or Duragar minis, which is something that are kind of in short supply. There's not a lot of them readily available. A couple cool monsters, and I really like these black puddings. These are very, very nice. You have a big one and a small one. These definitely beat out the hot glue version. Unboxing all this stuff for a video did not go the way I had planned. I mean, I knew going into this that there was over 200 minis in there and there was no sensical way I could unbox and show them all. But I was hoping it would go a little bit better and not just be a bunch of bags of parts and then showing a couple minis. So apologies, because it's not really the best of unboxings, but I don't think there's a great way to do one with something like this. And Bones 4 is such a big, important not Bones 4, but the Bones Kickstarters are such a big and important thing in the culture of this hobby. They're so popular, they're getting more and more popular. I just wanted to share my first experience in backing one of these. And I gotta say, it was worth it. It can be off-putting to pay out a couple $100 and then know that you're not going to get your product for over a year, and there could be delays and whatnot. But REAPER are by far one of the best companies at running big, massive Kickstarters like this. They've done it enough times, they know what they're doing. And when you back one of these, you are getting miniatures for pennies on the dollar. The price is absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, those minis ended up costing on average something like 80 cents each for me. And keep in mind, some of them were big minis. That's just crazy. Like, even though they're Reaper Bones are still a couple bucks a pop. So it's a really, really good deal. So if you're like me and had missed a bunch of these Bones Kickstarters before, and now you're seeing all these people posting about them, their excitement, pay attention when Bones 5 drops, because it's gonna come up. It's gonna be, I think, pretty soon, and you wanna get in on it. If you wanna get a bunch of minis for crazy cheap, it's the way to do it. The trade-off is you gotta wait a pretty long time to get them, but I think it's absolutely worth it, especially if you're in this hobby for the long haul. You know, when I backed it, I was actually wondering, well, what if maybe I've lost interest in miniatures? And then I realized, well, if you lose interest in miniatures, then this whole channel thing that you've been working up is probably a waste of time. So I didn't think I would lose interest. I haven't. I'm really excited. I'm totally overwhelmed with how I'm gonna deal with this amount of minis unpainted. I think that, I know that if I just put them back in the box, they're never gonna get touched or painted. So what I wanna do is put them all out on the shelf. So that means pre-assembling a whole bunch of them and just dropping them on the shelf as is. And then that way, as I'm playing, when I need a certain thing, I can look through, see if I have it, paint that one up, move it from the unpainted shelf onto a finished painted shelf. And maybe if they're all out like that, in between tasks, I might see one that catches my eye and get some inspiration to paint it. I'm really happy to get this many minis added to my collection for so cheap. I'm really anxious and stressed out about the fact that there's so many of them now to paint and assemble. It's a double-edged sword, but hey, that's the name of the game in this hobby. Despite this being kind of a mess of a video and not showing you too much, I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found it a bit informative. Maybe it's the first time you've heard of these Kickstarters, and now you can pay attention and be aware when Bones 5 drops. And in case it wasn't clear, this is not a sponsored video in any way, shape, or form. REAPER doesn't know I'm making it. I put up my cold, hard cash to back this thing, and I'm glad that I did. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Let me know in the comment section below. What I'd really like to know, for those of you that have a couple Bones Kickstarters under their belt, how do you deal with the monumental task of having hundreds of minis dropped on your lap? What do you do with them? How do you tackle painting them? How do you store them? What is your game plan in this situation? I'd love to hear it. Let me know in the comments section below. That's it for this week, guys. Cheers. See you again on Friday.